Hello folks, Ram Ramji. Welcome back to Reality Check with Arvind Swaminathan. First, may I say thank you to all of you in Delhi for coming out to vote. However, still only about 60-61%. Where were the other 40? Please come out and exercise your franchise. You have a vote. Don't let it go to waste. Don't take a holiday and go to the hills or something like this, or down south. This is the time to tell the government, are you happy or not? And congratulations to BJP on a victory, which is long overdue, because from what I've seen, certainly over the last 10 or 15 years, both Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, nothing but corruption and scams. Eye deep in it. They make promises, and it's the old saying in this part of the world, certainly among MPs, you make promises, you have no intention of keeping them. And they think even the electorate does not expect us to keep those promises, which Mr. Bhagwan Singh Maan is finding out in Punjab. When he promised 1,000 rupees to all women folk, 3 years have gone by and not one paisa has been delivered. Now this sort of thing obviously no good. However, we do expect basic rule of law and order from the BJP, so please don't slip up on that. We want proper law and order. Start cleaning up the Yamuna. Money has been spent, nearly 7,000 crores on it, but there is no cleanliness. The river is dirtier today than it was 5 years ago. No check on pollution. The roads are a mess. They got more potholes than roads, probably. Water supplies, dirty water, full of ammonia and so on. What happened to the Delhi Jal Board? You keep getting power cuts all the time. Now maybe the first thing the BJP should do is clean up these particular parameters. Start cleaning up the river, do something about air pollution, and cut out the waste and effluent being poured into the river. If you want something, send it to desert areas. They could need it. They could use it. Not the effluent, just the wastewater. Add to it something else. Health services must improve. So far, the Aam Aadmi Party, there are probably 1 or 2 health centers that work, but all the other it's the same old story. You have doctors and no medicines, or medicines and no doctors. Government hospitals are still the same. There's no discipline, no coming to time, work on time, nothing. This has to change. And this is what people expect from the new BJP government. I hope that don't fall short. And please, you folks, if they make 10 promises but manage to keep only 9, don't judge them by the one they couldn't keep. Do remember, people can only do so much, and there is bureaucratic red tape that gets in the way quite often. Now the other thing is, Trump has been elected. Is he the 47th president of the US? And he is difficult to explain. What is he doing? What is he trying to do? Is he part of the New World Order? Has he decided to join the Rothschilds? Because that's what he's doing. You see, he says all trade in the world, all international trade must be in US dollars. Why? Why must I have to buy dollars to buy anything from the UK or France or Germany or Russia, rather than in our own currencies, like the euro and rupees, or rubles, or even Chinese yuan? Why? Because every time we buy or sell dollars, we have to pay a commission to the US, which means the Rothschilds. Now these are things which many people find difficult to understand. And if all trade is in US dollars only, it means the US owns the whole world. Means the whole world is an American colony. He made a beginning already demanding Greenland. He wants Canada to become the 51st state of the US. Why? Because the USA has no natural resources anymore. They've all petered out. Canada, unexplored, huge expanses of territory. Why do you think they've been after Russia? Very small population and a huge land area. Nobody knows all the mineral wealth you can find there. That's what they're after. Now Trump has also told Ukraine, give us your rare earths, otherwise we won't give you any more weapons. I mean, this is blackmailing, nothing short of it. Now he's come up with this new plan for Palestine. All people from Gaza and the West Bank must go into outside so that Israel and or the US will take over Palestinian land. I mean, he's trying to make sure that the Palestinians are turned into the Red Indians or American Indians of West Asia. You know what the white man did to the American Indian in the USA? He's a non-entity. You hardly see them, you don't even know where they are. How much do you know about them? Nothing. Similarly, the Palestinians have just been hounded out slowly by slowly from Palestine, and the whole mass has become Israel. Now, the West Bank of the Jordan was given by the Jordanians to Palestinians to form part of the Palestinian state. And now, Mr. Trump, you want it? What for? Are you trying to tell us that the whole world, you own it? Or the whole world is a colony of the American East India Company with you at its head? I mean, what gives? What exactly are you trying to do? And if the world trade becomes purely dollar-oriented, he owns the whole world. You cannot trade without the dollar. And if he stops dollars going into a country, you're finished, you're sunk. We cannot allow such a monopoly. That is why BRICS is essential. Like it or not, Mr. Trump, you better grow up. People don't want to be under the American jackboot. You remember what I said 3 years ago about Ukraine? The American concept is, you cannot be free unless you're under the American jackboot, which is the kind of stupidity one associates with a lot of government officials in the US, that we own the world. They keep talking to everybody else about you mustn't be expansionist in nature. And yet the most expansionist country is the US. They can't say anything to Israel because what Israel is doing now is exactly what the white man did to the American Indian. Except the Israelis are doing it to Palestinians. You know, when the Europeans went over to the Americas, 150 years ago or 200 years ago, they only made one promise to the American Indian. We will take your land. All other treaties meant nothing. They were made only to be broken. And Trump is a classic example of that. Because he's doing exactly that. Whatever treaties have been made, he's broken them. He's got out of them. And he's using blackmail now against Jordan and Egypt that you must take Palestinians from Gaza and the West Bank or we will stop aid. Okay, stop it. Let Jordan and Egypt get aid from Saudi Arabia or something like this. Why not? All this whole exercise is aimed at one thing only: to take over all the West Asian oil and gas, and then start dictating price. Whom you sell, how much you sell to them, and at what price. Don't forget, the Russians and the Chinese have a lot of oil too. So does the North Sea. African countries have a lot of oil too. So does Venezuela and one or two other smaller nations in that region. And now it looks as if India has a few oil strikes. Mr. Trump, grow up. Stop trying to be a hero to the extent that you destroy the USA. You'll destroy much of the world, but you'll destroy yourself with it. Have fun. Because it's not going to last. You seem to have gone straight into that New World Order trap. And it's not going down very well. Now stop blackmailing. Because this is not getting us anywhere. It's just rubbing everybody up the wrong way. And you're going to wish you'd never even thought of it. Because all you're doing is driving us into the arms of Russia and China. Whatever chance you had of coming in and taking us in as partners and friends, you're losing. For instance, General Electric was supposed to supply us with engines, the F4114 engine. 2 years late and still not a single engine has come. Now your policies have always blackmailed everybody else. You give us the goods and then don't give us spare parts to keep them going. Because when we need them, there's a war or something and we need those spare parts urgently, you give us this and this, then we'll give you those. Now you understand why the US is not very popular and it's not going to be. You can go on putting tariffs on all of us because we deal with BRICS. We're going to. Much of the world is going to. Just think and understand. What is the population of these BRICS countries? Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South Africa. And about 16 or 20 other nations have also joined. We're big enough to trade among ourselves only. We don't need the American market. And if you put tariffs on us, the BRICS countries will put tariffs on you. Then try selling here. You're cutting your own throat, Mr. Trump, and America's throat with it. Like it or not. Grow up, Mr. Trump, and behave like a man rather than a monstrosity or an apology for a human being. The days of gunboat diplomacy are over. Let's get that straight. Other people have guns too. The Russians, the Chinese, even we have some, which you would love to get your hands on. I know you've been trying to stop us from developing. But this Modi government has done a great deal to take us so far forward that now we're a threat to you when it comes to competition or competing in the open market. Do understand something, Mr. Trump. BRICS was created because you or your country was creating problems for the rest of the world. Even Western Europe is beginning to distance itself from you. Why? Ukraine has not only destroyed Ukraine, but it has destroyed the economies of the whole of Western Europe because you've cut off their supply of oil and gas. And you're supplying the same oil at 4 times the price. You think you're smart? No, you're not. Because now even Saudi Arabia has started trading oil with China in Chinese yuan and Saudi dirhams. Why do they need dollars? Why will China trade in dollars? Don't forget something, Mr. Trump. You already owe China something like $800 billion in American bonds which the Chinese bought. You have to pay interest on that, and you have to redeem those bonds on time. How will you do that without trade? Especially in the two largest hubs of A, manufacture, and B, consumption, China and India. That's 2.8 or 2.7 billion people. Are you trying to kick them into submission? No way. You can try it, but you will come unstuck. And stop trying to kick Palestinians around and turn Israel into a huge power in the Middle East. It is, yes. But do remember, every empire rises, yes, but when it falls, it vanishes, almost without trace. Every power in history, whether it was the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the East India Company, the British Empire, and now the American East India Company. They come and go. Nothing lasts forever. Facts of life, like it or not. Well, folks, think about what I've said. Both the Americans and the folk in India, start producing, start thinking, learn skills, do things ourselves here. We're very good at jugaad, meaning improvisation. Let's make use of those skills. There's no dearth of brains in this country or talent. You just have to let it come out. Because if they go to the US, we'll have problems. If they stay here, they have problems. Believe me, without proper immigration or trained immigrations, the US is nothing. All their brains are imported from abroad. Think about it. Well, folks, there's something else I wanted to tell you. I'm going to take a little bit of a break for about a couple of weeks. I figure you need a break too, as much as I do. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. But do spread this around that we have to get up and stand on our own feet. Like it or not, nobody else is going to help us push up. And we're not going to learn it by sitting on our behind and twiddling our thumbs. Get busy. Use your brain. Use your hands. And just because it's Indian doesn't mean it's no good. Remember that. Bye.